See you guys.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Once again, thank you guys for coming on today. There's a lot of updates and important reminders. So we kind of created a document with just 3 talking points that we want to go over. Now, you guys, let me make it perfectly clear that your athletic counselors, we are not eligibility specialists. We actually have a full-time eligibility specialist, and that is Annie Escalera. So if you're not sure if you're eligible in between seasons, contact your coaches. And again, Annie does the final certification to make sure you guys are all eligible during your second season of competition. However, the reason why I wanted to bring up eligibility briefly is because we've had a lot of concerns because there's been so many changes that students kind of get wrong assumptions that just because prior to COVID-19, we needed 24 units in between seasons with the 2.0. Now, 12 units in between seasons. And so students think, wow, we cut eligibility by 50%. Does that mean I can drop some of my classes? And the answer is absolutely, positively no. There's a difference between eligibility and transfer. Our goal as athletic counselors are to get you guys to the next level, to get you guys at the 4-year college. Hopefully in just 4 to 5 full-time semesters. So our goal is to get Mount SAC in about 2 years. Number 5, the last bullet point for eligibility, number 5 is educational plans for all spring athletes will be due March 1st. So if you guys are new to Mount SAC, you attended back in June and July, you attended the new student orientation for student athletes. What we did during that time is just create a 1 semester, an abbreviated MAP, Mountie Academic. So we just plotted courses that were needed only for the fall of 2020. Now we want to transition that abbreviated ed plan into a full comprehensive ed plan. So we want to map out all your classes, fall, winter, spring, summer, first year, and then fall, winter, spring, summer, second year. Once again, because we need 60 units for the AA degree, you guys should be able to self-monitor yourself and make sure you have 30 academic units completed your first year, and then obviously we're going to need 30 academic units the second year. We might, based on your needs, if you guys have questions, we might go back to the Student Athlete Hub and I'll actually show you the different modules that we created. I think a lot of you have been taking advantage of, especially module number 2, it's the WIN link. So now you just click on the WIN link and you have access to free tutoring, which is awesome. Every Wednesday, if you click on the same link, we have a financial aid specialist available for you. You guys have been doing this long enough to know that it doesn't work if you're taking anywhere from 15 to 17 academic units. You're participating in your sport, anywhere from 15 to 20 hours plus a week. And then because you're trying to make ends meet, helping out your family, you're working a part-time job. It's just too much going on. It's too much on your plate. Things are going to fall apart. And that's why we currently have 5,000 students on probation, because students try to take on too much and have time to study, and we're getting the substandard grades. And you guys, again, I'll just remind you that grades are forever. It's so important, even during COVID-19, that you're communicating with your professors, that you're logging on to WIN regularly. Just the same during the COVID as pre-COVID. And I know you didn't sign up for this. You came to Mount SAC thinking that you were going to take classes the traditional way and showing up, sitting in the front row, raising your hand when you have questions, and getting good grades. And now some of you guys might be having internet access difficulties at home. You might not have access to a laptop, and it's been difficult for you to really focus on this new way of learning. But we do this just like you battle on the pool. You got to battle with this virtual reality. And so let's really focus on our grades, and part of that is just taking advantage of our free tutoring that we might touch on later. Okay, bullet point number 3, and important reminders. Some of you guys, this is your second year and you might be graduating this fall. If that's the case, the deadline to petition your graduation is October 23rd, and then for winter, it's December 11th. Write this down. If this spring of 2021 is going to be your last semester at Mount SAC, you want to turn in your petition to graduate May 1st. May 1st is the deadline for spring of 2021. Module number 6. Module number 6 on the Student Athlete Hub. It's the transfer module, and you guys, this is really important. If this is going to be your final year and you want to transfer to one of the 23 Cal States in the fall of 2021, or one of the 10 UCs in the fall of 2021, you actually apply almost a year before you get accepted. So right now, October through November 30th window in which you apply for the Cal States and UCs. So if you go on to module number 6, you can actually make an appointment by a transfer specialist, and they'll actually help you fill out the CSU, the UC application. And that's really important. So take advantage of that important resource. EWs. Again, Mount SAC is doing the best for all of our students that attend Mount SAC. And so just like in the spring of 2020, the EWs are going to work the same way in the fall of 2020. So again, the reason why I bring this up is because we have so many student athletes contacting the athletic counselor saying, hey, you know what, I'm really struggling in my sociology class. I think I'm going to drop it. Because of the EWs have lightened up, the policy has really lightened up, and take advantage of it. You can get a W all the way until the final week of the semester, and you'll get a full refund. So there's still plenty of time to log on to the WIN every day and raise that F grade, raise that D grade to a C or a B. Speaking of EWs and getting a full refund and waiting at the last minute to decide if you're going to get a letter grade or a W, look at the next bullet point, the pass, no pass option. Take advantage of that too. That's really important. The name of the game is to transfer to a four-year college with the highest GPA possible. And so if you get an A in a class, take the A, because that's a 4.0, perfect GPA. You're doing great. But I would, if you're going to get a C in a class and you got a C after finals week, then I would really make sure you change that C grade to a pass option only. And you'll still get credit for the class that you took. You'll still get that C is not going to affect your GPA. We all know C's are a 2.0. 5 years ago, when the NCAA raised the GPA, you can't even transfer on a scholarship with a 2.0. You need a 2.5. And then, as we all know, the UCs are extremely competitive when it comes to GPAs. I would say UCLA, UC Berkeley, the average GPA have it, but the average GPA that you want to strive for is about a 3.7. It's that competitive. But even in our own backyard, Cal State Fullerton, their GPA was around a 3.4. So even the Cal States, I had a student a couple years ago apply to San Marcos. San Marcos used to be really kind of, if you had a pulse and you had a good attitude, they would let you in with a 2.5. She had a 3.4 and she got denied because her GPA was too low. So again, I'm not trying to scare you guys, but I just want to make sure that everybody hates and we're trying to get the best grades possible with or without the COVID-19. Okay, speaking of GPA, it's really important that, and this is, when it comes to dropping classes, it only takes you guys a minute to go on to your student portal, click on number 4, add drop classes, and then put in the CRA number and drop the class. And then it's, wow, that was so easy. And now you just made my life so much, less difficult, because I don't have to worry about English 1A anymore. I don't have to, I dropped college algebra. So I kind of took a big load off my shoulders. That could be true, but there's a lot of other negative ramifications that could come of it. If you drop below full-time status during season. Now all of a sudden you're ineligible. I have so many students that were trying to get scholarships and compete at the next level, but they came up 2 classes short getting their AA degree. We're the only population at Mount Sac. Student athletes is the only population at Mount San Antonio College based on NCAA rules and regulations, whether you're a qualifier or non-qualifier. For those non-qualifier students, you have to have an AA degree before you compete at the next level. And we've had a lot of students fall short 2 classes from getting a degree, thus not being able to get a scholarship. And so dropping classes, again, could have deleterious effects on your total outcome. Some of you guys didn't know this. If you look at the bullet point just below, if you fall below 67%, if you fall below 67% of your unit total for any given semester, fall semester or spring semester, you fall below 67%, you could be in jeopardy now becoming on progress probation, getting on progress probation. And then if you do that again the following semester, you'll lose your financial aid. So that will be huge. Again, we don't want you to go out and get a part-time job. We want you to take advantage of financial aid that is awarded to you at Mount Sac, and we don't want you to lose it. So don't fall below 67% of your total units in any given fall or spring semester. If you haven't filled out the FAFSA, you guys, please, I urge you, you don't be the one to determine whether you qualify for federal aid or state aid. There's a lot of scholarships that are not based on, oh, my parents make $200,000 a year. Well, there's merit scholarships, and that's based on your GPA. So your parents can make tons of money, but if you have a 3.5 or higher GPA, you can still qualify for a lot of scholarships. Because even if your parents make $150,000 a year, you might have 6 brothers and sisters, and you can't, $150,000 a year is not going to put all 6 siblings through private universities. So you still need financial aid. So again, fill out the FAFSA, fill out the book scholarship. We have thousands of dollars that go unused every semester at Mount Sac because students don't write a paragraph, an essay, why they can use a book scholarship. So take advantage of all the financial aid resources we have available. And you can do that by, again, module number 2, log on to the WIN link, you guys, write this down. Every Wednesday at 10:30, from 10:30 to 12, we have a financial aid counselor at the WIN that will answer all your questions and make sure all your documents are, so you can get that much needed financial aid. Progress checks are currently being conducted right now. All of our faculty are progress checks. So this is a great opportunity for you guys to have that conversation. If you're missing assignments, please reach out to your faculty and see if there's a way you can turn in late assignments, or maybe there might be some extra credit opportunities. That would definitely be best interest to always open those lines of communications with your faculty. That's really helpful. I know I taught 2 counseling classes in the spring of 2020, and there was some students going through some real life obstacles, transitioning from being in class to online. And a lot of our students didn't have laptops. They didn't have internet access at home. They couldn't just go down to Starbucks down the street for free internet because it was all closed up. So they struggled. But those students who reached out to me, okay, obviously we extended mercy. We knew what was going on. We allowed them to turn in late assignments. Your faculty are here to help you, okay? We enjoy helping students get to the next level, but you have to do your part and reach out to us. You can't just sit there and do nothing and then wait until finals week and then beg for a high grade. It doesn't work that way. You constantly have to have those line of communications open. So again, I can't importance of logging on to the WIN every day and take advantage of all the resources. Speaking of taking advantage of all the resources, I want to really, I know you guys have seen this at the new student orientation. We had this on the code of conduct. It was recorded on code of conduct, but I don't know how many of you actually, and how many of you were doing something different. So this is just another opportunity for us to just briefly go through some 2-minute overview. You guys, if you log on Canvas to all your other classes, I want you guys to really on a weekly basis, click on the Student Athlete Hub. This is our virtual athletic counseling classroom that we created, Student Athlete Hub. It's really important. If even the homepage, you guys, some of you, I had 5 emails this morning, and they asked questions, but the student athletes didn't leave me their Mount SAC ID number. So then I have to email them back for their ID number. And it'd be, you guys also left us your phone number so we can call you back immediately. And I know that's important to have your questions answered in a manner. I would also get in the habit of emailing all 3 counselors the same question, because Jessica Fuller is part-time. She might not always respond back because she works at other community colleges. Jessica Valdez is teaching a couple of Counseling 5 classes, so she might be in a Zoom meeting with her class. And so you're better odds of reaching one of us if you answer, or if you email all 3 counselors. And again, leave your Mount SAC ID and your phone number, and we'll get back to you in a much more timely manner. The modules, real quick. The modules. I think module number 2 is really important, the WIN. You guys, again, I can't stress how important it is going to module number 2, and it's just simple. Click on the WIN Zoom link, and you instantly have access to a tutor. Again, if you do it Wednesday, if you go on the WIN Zoom link on Wednesdays at 10:30, you'll also have access to a financial aid counselor, and that would be really important to make sure you guys are taking advantage of free money. MAP, I know Cade was going through some of the CSU, and I get the information. You guys make sure, whether you go into a private school, there's 76 private colleges in California, there's 23 Cal States, there's 10 UCs. So make sure you have an idea of what college you might want to transfer to, and then you're taking the right general ed classes and the right major courses in order to transfer to those institutions. It's really important. And if you want to know if the major courses articulate or equivalent to the class that you want to transfer to, I wrote it on the chat, but it's assist.org, www.assist.org. And you guys can go on that, play around, formulate some questions, and then contact the athletic counselors if you need further guidance. That would be really helpful. Number 6, you go to module number 6, here it is right here. Module number 6, schedule a transfer advising appointment. So this would be the time right now to schedule a transfer advising appointment so they can go over step by step on how to fill out a CSU application, any kind of an application for the fall of 2021. So again, you apply October 1st through November 30th for the fall of 2021. Schedule a transfer advising appointment. Number 8, all the forms. Now, if you want to turn in an academic renewal form, you took English and math at another college and you need a variance, or you're going to petition to graduate this year, all the forms that you would need. Okay, so a simple click of the button and all the information is right here for module number 6. That is it for our Student Athlete Hub. I went over some important dates and reminders. Again, one last reminder, eligibility. Even though we softened the requirements to be eligible during the second season, we didn't soften the requirements for an AA degree. You still need 60 units. So this isn't an excuse to drop classes because of the COVID-19 pandemic currently experiencing. Is it tough? Absolutely. Would we much rather be on campus? Yes, but these are the signs of the time, so we just got to stick it out. How much longer? We don't know yet. I stopped guessing that we'll be back in December or January. We're going to be back in the winter, because every time I say something, I get a message from the president or from my dean, and it's something else. So I don't know when we'll be back, but we're looking forward to that time. But for right now, you guys take advantage of the win. I think what I've heard from Erica Ledesma and her staff, that now you guys physically don't have to walk into the wind. It's not noisy. There's not a million people. I've heard that there's a lot of pluses. You know, you could be anywhere and you get access to free tutoring. So in some cases, this online thing has actually been more of an advantage. We've never created these modules. Now we have modules that you guys can get probably 90% of your questions answered if you just go on the Student Athlete Hub, and one of those modules is going to apply to you. check the modules out first, like Cade was doing. It's really great to ask some of your sophomores or freshmen about the transfer process because they're doing it. And you can get some really good information from your peers, from the people who've already transferred. You have an older brother, you have transferred already to UCLA. How did he do it? Get questions. And then if you still need some expertise, by all means, go to the homepage and contact the athletic counselors. Coach, did I leave anything out? You guys, do you have any questions? I'm here. Any questions whatsoever? Go ahead and fire away.
So if I wanted to find out like what undergrad would be best for getting into law school, I wouldn't ask you, right? I would ask the transfer center.
Well, for law school is obviously a graduate program. Okay,
Yeah,
so you're not going to law school after Mount SAC. You're going to get a bachelor's degree. Now, to get a bachelor's degree, to be honest with you, the most important thing is to maintain your GPA. You want to have a high GPA to go to law school. But gosh, pre-law degrees could be anything from political science to business to law enforcement.
Like,
you could definitely ask an athletic counselor, a counselor, what pre-law degree might be best for you. It depends what kind of what law you practice. Family law, criminal law, corporate law. So we would first want to ask some questions of exactly pinpoint kind of, law is such a huge umbrella. There's so many different options within law. Once we got that, then we could pick a good bachelor's degree. And as long as you have a strong GPA, you have good critical thinking skills, good writing skills, comprehension skills, we'll get into law school. But law schools, that's still another 3-4 years away. We got to pick a good bachelor's program first. Yeah, definitely. Once you find your area of expertise, once you're taking political science 5 and 9 SAC, comparative law, international law, your professors at Mount SAC would give you some really good insight on what law programs might be good for you. But so can a counselor.
Yeah, okay.
Great question, Alex.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question about when winter registration starts.
Lonnie, by any chance you have a schedule with you? I want to say like November 10th, but I'm not exactly sure. As soon as I get off this Zoom, Lonnie, I'll text you with that answer. And then if you can just relay that to Matthew, that'd be great. Matthew, I want to say it's going to be around November 10th, but I don't have the exact dates for the winter, but I'll find that out and I'll text it to or I'll email your coach.
And then do we get priority for that too?
Yes, absolutely. Now, you got great, guys. Let's just seconds on registration. Prior to registration as a new student athlete, if you attend the orientation for 3 days, you get priority. But to maintain it, and I'm sure Matthew, you're on it, you just maintain a 2.0 or higher GPA. That's easy. You maintain yourself on the coach's roster with Lonnie or Mark. That's easy. And then your third is you maintain your 2 hours a week at the WIN program. Okay, so as long as, and you guys, it doesn't have to be 2 hours every week. So let's say you went on vacation last week, okay, you didn't do any hours. Okay, you got to put in 4 hours the following week. So there's 16 weeks in a semester. Erica, 30 hours at the end of the semester to give you priority registration. And if there's any problem, contact your coach. If your coach has a problem, she'll contact me. You guys, my thing is, I don't want to take priority registration away from any of you, because if you don't get priority, then you don't get your classes. Who do you come run into if you don't get your classes? Me. So I just have to do extra work in trying to get your classes because, 30,000 students registered for you. So if you have a problem, honestly, contact your coach, and your coach will contact us, and we'll do our best to put out that fire. But I can't stress enough, whether it's, practicing with trying to get better in your sport, communicate with your coaches, whether it's trying to get a better grade in your class, communicate with your instructors, whether it's finding out what are the general ed classes I need for USC, communicate with your athletic counselors. But the key word is communication, tenacity. Don't stop asking, don't stop. But it is surprising when I teach classes, like how many students just flatline. I try to email them, I try to call them, and they don't call back. And we can't give you guys good grades. You're not going to transfer from Mount SAC successfully if you guys just kind of bury your head in the sand and choose not to communicate with your coaches, your faculty, Erica from the WIN, your financial aid counselors. They're an important part of the process. Reach out to the transfer specialist. And we create all the modules. All the information is there. All the links are there. But it takes effort. It takes on your part. But that's why the UCs are going to accept you. That's why USC, University of Spoiled Children, University of Style and Class is going to accept you, because when you get A's in all your classes, it doesn't, you guys, getting A's in your classes doesn't mean, oh, wow, Matthew, you're really smart because you got A's. No, it means that you guys seek out the answers. You guys ask the questions. You guys get the information. You're putting in effort. It takes an A. It takes somebody who kind of a slacker to get a C, and then it takes somebody who just doesn't want to do anything. Throw your hands up and say, okay, everybody else do everything for me. I don't want to work. I just want to be lazy. I got an F in the class. So that's what the UCs, that's what the private colleges are looking for. They're looking for somebody who works hard. And that's what you guys are doing by looking at these modules, because it's much easier going out and hanging out with your friends, or, seeing how many girlfriends we can gather in a semester, or how many hours of television we could watch. It's easier just watching 40. The average American watches 35 hours of television. If that's you, we're in a heap of trouble, and the UCs don't want you. So turn the TV off. Okay, break up with your girlfriend. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking about that. But you guys just get yourself involved in the process. Even during this COVID-19, you still got to be involved. It's not an excuse to just shut down and say, hey, life is hard. I get life is hard. Life is really hard. We're homeschooling. I'm homeschooling both my daughters now, and that's just like crazy. It was much easier when I just dropped them off at school and I had the professional teacher teach them. Now I have to teach them, and it's like they don't want to learn, but I have to kind of force it upon them. So it's difficult. You guys, we're all going through a difficult time. You guys don't understand a word I'm saying, but when you have three, you'll be like, oh, I remember Shane said he homeschooled while Zooming every day and doing 1,000 ed plans. It's when you start to juggle too many more things than you can handle, it's called stress. And so we're all experiencing that stress, but you got to fight through it. You got to fight through it. You guys are fighters, and fighters get to USC. That's what Trojans are all about, right? Trojans are fighters. Okay, most of your mascots are fighters, because that's what you have to do. You have to be a fighter. And that's what's going to get us through. And Alex, I love your sense of humor. You also have to have a sense of humor and just kind of let things roll off your shoulders, because if you just dwell on how hard life is, and if you just dwell like me, I'm a victim in this whole pandemic, all it's going to do is give you an excuse to say, hey, I could be a cop-out because, I take myself too serious. You can't. Sometimes you just got to have to laugh about it, let it roll off, and then just go back the next on your horse and ride it a little faster. All right. You guys fired up? Good job, Cody. I did like hearing your research, your plan to get into USC. That's great. I wish well, this is recording, so I better be careful what I say. You're going to get me in trouble, Lonnie, recording all my meetings. Any other questions, you guys? All right. I don't want to take up your time. I know time is of the essence, so you guys have a great day. Lonnie, I'll get you that winter registration date.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Shane.
All
you
right,
guys stay on for
just
a minute. Okay, thanks, Shane.